guys, happy Sunday to everybody. I just wanted to pop in and make a video. I've had lots of interesting questions regarding my talk, multiple videos about silicone differences, my thoughts on armatures and silicone softness, things like that. So I thought it would be wise, since I had multiple questions, I figured I should address them and just kind of, chat with you guys and catch up. So yeah, I figured this would be a good video to make just so I can clarify my thoughts, because one of the things about making videos and when we sit and we chat about our babies and things like that, you know, for everybody out there that may be newer to collecting and or newer to silicones, or just, really liking to hear others' opinions about it through, other experiences, sometimes take everything I say literally. And you have to understand that when I'm making a video and talking and speaking about these things, these are honestly just my opinions. These are not thoughts put out there to tell someone what they should do. For instance, one of the questions that came up on one of the videos was that there is a collector that's going to be purchasing a silicone doll with, and they had thought getting armatures in the arms. That's what their initial, choice was, is to have the baby made with armatures. And then after watching my video, was asking if it's not a good idea to get armatures. So, I can't make those decisions for you guys. I can just share my thoughts and opinions on what I've experienced and what my preferences are, and that's all they really are. They're not like, no, you shouldn't get armatures put in your doll that's being made, simply because I just don't prefer them. A lot of collectors, and probably more so than not, I can say, tend to enjoy and like the armature rather than not. But it is completely a personal choice of whether or not you like the armatures. You would want to experience them before you make that decision, I think. And I think that armatures are great. And here's the thing, this is something I probably should have said in the initial video, is that certain sculpts lend themselves to kind of really work best with armature versus a different type of sculpt that seems to move better without it. And I hope that doesn't confuse you or make, I hope it makes sense, I guess. Because as I've collected different types of silicone dolls, the sculpting of them is very different. Every single one of them has been very, very different. And when I think artists are creating and sculpting these babies, when they know that they're creating a silicone, so when they go to like sculpt a doll from clay as they start, knowing that they're going to create this doll into a silicone doll probably makes them think ahead about how they're sculpting and what would work best with silicone, because not all sculpts and not all types of sculpting, I think, can be made into silicone. I've heard multiple discussions amongst artists and silicone pourers and things like that, that you can take a beautiful mold, and it doesn't mean, or I should say take a beautiful sculpt, and it doesn't mean it's going to come through all the way through the molding process and have all those wonderful details in the end in a silicone doll. You have to sculpt with knowing you're creating a silicone doll in mind. So I think like the creases need to be deeper, or the definition in the hands and feet and fingers and toes and things need to be very, very precise in order for those details to follow all the way through to, making the mold out of clay, then casting the mold and creating a silicone mold with that, and then pouring the silicone into the mold, and then having the final product show all of those wonderful details that they sculpted. So I think that also has a lot to do with whether armatures work really great in a sculpt or not, especially in the arms and the positioning of the arms. And one of the reasons why I don't prefer the the armatures with this particular sculpt. And like I said, this doll, this edition, originally was sculpted back in 2010, 2011. It's been a while. And she happened to be poured much later. She was poured in 2015 because she was created at a later point in time after it was a closed edition, long since sold out, and yada, yada, yada. So because of the way that her arms are, which I'll unwrap her, I like the fact that she doesn't have armature. I think it would take away from this particular sculpt if she had armatures. Because I like being able to move her, because she naturally keeps her hands in, you know, up towards her face. That's kind of where they are. Unless I purposely move like this hand out here, she'll leave it out there. But for the most part, you know, when I'm playing around with her arms, she tends to bring them back up to her face, which is what I love about the natural movement and how she looks very, very real to me. But other dolls that have, you know, straighter arms or arms that aren't meant to be up like that, that's when I think the armature is really, really great and very useful. Like with Marley, for instance, I really enjoyed having the armature. Was she a little bit less cuddly when I, you know, swaddled her and held her? Maybe a little bit, but not like a ton, because I always liked her hands positioned up near her face, kind of like how hers are. And so they weren't really in the way when I was holding her. But when you have a doll with longer, especially someone noted, I think it was Bubble75 that noted that, you know, longer, skinnier arms, you know, that are sculpted that way would probably be super nice with armature, because that's when they're very thin, that's when the silicone soft silicone moves in weird ways and doesn't look natural. But I think it just depends on the sculpt. I think that if you're purchasing your first silicone doll with the option of having armatures, I say try it out, because a lot of collectors really prefer them. I'm probably more in the not norm bucket of collectors saying that, well, I don't necessarily prefer having the armatures, but that is my own personal preference, and that doesn't mean it's going to be yours. So I just want to make sure that I'm careful about the way that I explain things, and I need to be careful when I'm making these videos that I don't kind of dump my thoughts and my preferences off on other collectors, because it's not for me to decide. And I think that everybody should, you know, if given the opportunity, sure, explore having the armature in the doll and see if you like it. Because a lot of people, depending on what type of collector you are, don't necessarily hold their dolls. They're more about posing and taking pictures and maybe making videos, but not necessarily cuddling with the doll. So, you know, the cuddle factor wouldn't be a big deal if you're more like to pose your doll and make videos and kind of role play and things like that. The armature can be very, very handy to be, you know, able to pose the baby in more positions. And so you kind of have to take all of that into consideration when you're choosing these options. And if you don't care for it, at least you know. But I never want to make, you know, I don't want to force my opinions on any other collector. These are truly my opinions over many years of collecting dolls and knowing what I prefer. And especially with this baby here, I love to pick her up, swaddle her and hold her, carry her around with me. I am more hands-on with the last few dolls that I've had than I have been since collecting. I used to be the type of collector that would just like to pose the baby, make the baby look cute, put it in, you know, put it in beautiful clothing, and then walk away and leave them as is for a period of time. As I've evolved down to more, you know, less number of babies in the nursery, and now down to essentially one full body silicone doll, I enjoy holding her. That is one of the biggest enjoyment factors for me as a collector now, is being able to sit in my rocking chair and hold her and cuddle her, and it's just such a peaceful, amazing feeling to me. And so that's why I like the super soft silicone. That's why I don't like the armatures necessarily, especially in the sculpt. But those are why I have those preferences. But different collectors collect for different reasons. So it's all up to you guys to kind of figure out what you like, what you don't like, and that takes time. It's taken me many years to figure out what I like and what I don't like in collecting, to be honest. And I've, you know, had multiple dolls multiple times. Even some of the very exact same sculpts. Funny enough, it's amazing. I still can't believe I've been able to achieve getting the same doll back more than once. But I have. But ultimately, yeah, these are all just things that you want to take into consideration when you're, looking to adopt a new baby and bring a new doll into your collection. Everybody's preferences are very different, and for a lot of us, we have to experience them in person, and we can't make that judgment based on someone's video and what their preferences are. So I hope that kind of answers the question and kind of clarifies, that things are definitely my opinions and my preferences only, and they shouldn't be taken to heart. Y'all have to kind of decide what's best for you as a collector. And as you kind of evolve as a collector and grow your collection of babies, you'll figure it out. Some people come to find out that they really just don't like silicone at all. There's a lot of collectors out there that have tried it and tried it and tried it, and then ultimately decided it just isn't for them, whether it's the fear of, they're more easily damaged, or they just don't like the feel of it. Every one of us is so different, yet we still all have that baseline love for dolls. So luckily there's lots to choose from out there. But yeah, hopefully that kind of clears it up, because I don't want to cause confusion in collectors. I just want everybody to enjoy their dolls, and I share my opinions. And yeah, they're just my opinions. But there's Miss Janica. I put her back into this beautiful knitted ensemble. I kind of changed it up. I put the footed bottoms on her and this beautiful top. It's like a kimono style sweater with, I love the ruffle neck on that jacquardie onesie that I have her in, and then of course the matching hat. Super cute. It has been freezing here, you guys. That's why she's so bundled. Shoot, we've had snow here already. We've had really super windy days and down into the teens overnight, so that is why I have kept her super bundled, even though our house is pretty warm. It sometimes does get a little chilly in this room where my nursery is, just because it's kind of in the front of the house. It depends on the wind and stuff, I've noticed, and it depends on the time of day, because certain times of the day it'll warm up and be even warmer than the rest of the house, so it's kind of funny like that. But she looks amazing. I love her. The more time I spend with this baby, the more I seem to love her. I just, I don't know. There's just, in all lighting, like I had her in my bedroom with me. I was watching a movie the other night, and I was just thoroughly enjoying her. And even in like darker lighting, because it was at night, she just looks so alive. Her skin tones are just so beautiful in any kind of light. I've got different kinds of lighting throughout my house, and I love to look at her in different lighting. So I've just thoroughly enjoyed her this week that I've been off. I am, not looking forward to going back to work, of course, because I know I'm going to have tons of work waiting for me. But it's been a really nice, it's been a nice break, and to be home and to be able to spend time with her whenever I feel like it. It's been lovely. But I hope everybody's enjoyed their week and have had a nice weekend. And thank you for all the wonderful, lovely comments about the update on my nursery. I'm really liking the changes I've made so far. But we'll see. I don't know if it's done yet. I'm still always tinkering around in here. It's just kind of how I am. I like things to be perfect, and I don't know when it'll be perfect, to be honest. But anyways, guys, I hope you all have a great Sunday. And Janica and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.